So in this section, we're going to talk about mastering basic addition facts. And this is really more of kind of a mental strategy that we use when we add, and something that can kind of be taught to kids to make it easier to add in your head. So I'm going to just go ahead and admit this is going to look really strange when we write it on paper, because remember, this is stuff that you would kind of do in your head. And so then when you try to translate that to paper, it looks a little strange. But let's just talk about when you first learn to add, the way that you're taught. And most people are taught this method called counting on first. So if you were going to do 5 plus 3, you would start at 5, and then you would literally use your fingers and go 6, 7, 8 until you have 3 more, right? So 5, 6, 7, 8. This would be your 3 more. And so then you would go, okay, so 5 plus 3 is then 8, because that's where I ended up, right? Let's say you wanted to do 4 plus 6. You would start at 4, and then you would go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Like with your fingers. So you'd add 6 more. So you'd start at 4, and then you'd go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where this is the 6 more, right? 5, 6, right? And so then this tells you that 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. Again, I said it looks weird when you try to write it down, because you really just like count on, start at the first number and then count on with your fingers. Then another really good strategy to learn is doubles. Most elementary students learn their doubles first. So 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 plus 3 is 6, etc. 5 plus 5 is 10. And if you can memorize the doubles, then doing the doubles plus 1 or plus 2, or even the doubles minus 1, becomes pretty easy to do. So let me show you. For example, we know that 5 plus 5 is equal to 10, right? That would be something that we memorized. So then what if we wanted to do 5 plus 6? Well, 6 is just 1 more than 5. Like, you almost have a double here. 6 is really 5 plus 1. So if you think about it that way, and you just look at the double that you have, you can go, well, right here, that 5 plus 5, that makes 10, plus 1 more would be 11. So 5 plus 6 is the double, which is 10, plus 1 more, which is 11. So the 6, my brain thinks of it as like 5 plus this 5 is 10, and then 1 more is the 11. If you wanted to do 5 plus 7, there's a 5 plus 5 inside of there, but 7 is actually 5 plus 2. So you can take your double, your 5 plus 5 that you know, 5 plus 5 is 10, and then you just add 2 more, and you get to 12. Again, you're doing this in your head. You're going 5 plus 5 plus 2 more. So 10 plus 2 more is 12. What if you wanted to do 4 plus 3? Well, that's almost 4 plus 4. That's almost a double. But this 3 is 1 lower than 4. So you could think of it as a double. If you think of the 3 as 4 minus 1, then your 4 plus 4, you would memorize that double is 8, and then you would subtract 1 to get to 7. So you're doing the 8 and then minus 1, because it's 1 below. And I have found that my brain sort of does this. I didn't know there was a name for it, but this is the way my brain kind of adds. It looks for those doubles first, because those are easy, and then you just have to adjust it a little bit by adding or subtracting. Something else that your brains might do is making 10. So if you have to add 8 to 5, rather than counting on, you break this up so that you have a number that's compatible with the 8. And what I mean by compatible is, I mean when you add it, you get like 10 or 20 or some kind of a number that's a nice number. So if we think of the 5 as 2 plus 3, then we can think of 8 plus 2, oh, that's 10, and then 10 plus 3 more is just 13. So you're breaking up that 5 strategically to make a number that adds nicely to the 8. Let me show you another example. If you wanted to do 7 plus 9, well, I know that 7 plus 3 is 10. That would be nice, 7 plus 3. So if I think of 9 as 3 plus 6, then here's my 10, and then I just add 6 more. And so that would be 16. 9 plus 7 is 16. So it's an alternative to just memorizing, the fact. So making like a 10 or compatible numbers. And then the last one is called counting back. And it kind of revolves around tens. So you can go, well, I have to do 9 plus 7. 9 is really close to 10. So let me just call it 10. 10 plus 7 is 17. But I added 1 to that 9 to make a 10, so I got to take it off at the end. And so that would make 16. So it's like you bump it up at the beginning and then you fix it at the end. So like if you wanted to do 8 plus 5, for example, just call it 10 plus 5. But I just added 2, so I'm going to have to fix it at the end by subtracting 2. So that would be 15 minus 2, which is 13. So that's just kind of another way to use tens to kind of help make the adding easier. Again, these are all sort of mental strategies that can be taught in early elementary school.